Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, hello, how are you? My name is Gina, and on this channel we talk about plants. And in this video, we're going to be talking about plants. This is a highlight video. We are going to be focusing on one particular type of plant, and that would be the Aeschynanthus Thai pink, which is right here to my left. This gorgeous, big, giant plant right here. We're going to be learning all about this plant together today. So it is also referred to as a lipstick plant, which is probably what most people are more familiar with, probably because lipstick is so much easier to say than Aeschynanthus. It's also easier to say Aeschynanthus than to spell Aeschynanthus. But yeah, I'm going to tell you everything you ever wanted to know about this plant. It's actually a requested video. Someone recently requested that I do a care video for this plant. So we're going to go over lighting, watering, fertilizing, and I'm going to show you how to propagate this plant because obviously that is something I really need to do. It has grown so much this summer. This is probably my fastest growing plant this summer, I think. Yeah, it's grown a lot, so it needs the trimming, and we're going to do that together, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. So let's get started. All right, so the first thing we'll go over lighting, and lighting it's a big thing with this plant. So technically, this plant prefers partial sun to shade. So I have here she is right here. I have her sitting in a southeast facing window. Now, when I first got this plant, and I cannot remember for the life of me when I got this plant and where I got it. I went on my Etsy history page, like purchase history page, and it didn't show up, which is surprising to me because usually that's where I get all my plants. So it is possible I got it on eBay. I don't think I checked eBay. I didn't. So it might have been on eBay, which I think this is my third year with this plant, my third summer with this plant, pretty positive. I don't think it's more than 3 years. So about 3 years, this plant is about 3 years old. When I first got it, I kept it in a west-northwest, so mostly west-facing window. And it did fine. It did absolutely fine when I first got it because I'm pretty positive, I got it in the fall. It was either in the fall or the winter that I picked this plant up. So it did perfectly fine in that west-northwest facing window. It wasn't too hot. Because of the angle of the sun, it wasn't like getting that much sun. It did great, and it bloomed. It bloomed for me. So then, after that, summer comes. It gets blasted with sun in that window, and it just was like going downhill. It was horrible. I thought I was going to lose the plant. And then I forget who it was. It might have been Paul who suggested that they are actually understory plants in the wild and nature. And they grow under trees. So I think it was Paul, suggested I move it out of the sun, like out of those windows into a more shaded area. So that's what I did, and it ended up in this window here, and it has just done so beautifully in this window. Clearly, it loves it here. Now, would I prefer it in my living room? Yes, I would prefer it like where I can see it, like really show it off, because when people come over, they don't come into my bedroom, right? I don't bring people into, show off my bedroom. So it's kind of just like hidden back here. So I wish I could showcase it in like the main portion of my house. But this is just the perfect, it just loves it here. So it's going to stay here in this east-southeast facing window. So it is like 9:30 in the morning. So you can see it does get some morning sun. It mostly gets morning sun. And other than that, it's just like a bright location. So this would be, it gets partial sun in the morning, and then the rest of the day it is shaded. And that's what they like, partial sun shade. That is their preference. So keep that in mind. If you have one of these plants and you have it in, don't put it in a south-facing window. No, no, no. Don't do that. Don't put it in a west-facing window. I would think possibly, I wouldn't even suggest a north-facing window because it wouldn't get any sun. And I think in order for this plant to actually bloom, I think it really would enjoy a little bit of sun, like a little bit of morning sun. I have not tested that theory. So if you have your lipstick plant in a north-facing window and it has bloomed for you, by all means, let me know in the comments. I would love to know that because I just don't know. I haven't had that experience with this plant. So now, you don't have to have this plant right in front of a window. So if all you have are like south-facing windows or west-facing windows, you can still have this plant, but you're just gonna wanna move it further away from the window. So for instance, in my dining room, I have a pagoda black lipstick plant, which is very near a south-southwest facing window. But I have it like hanging a ways away from that window. So it is still getting bright light. It's still getting sufficient lighting where it is. And it blooms and it does, it's basically like this plant growth wise, like growth is almost to the floor on that black pagoda. So don't feel like if you don't have like an east facing window that you just can't have this plant, because that's not true. And also it does well under grow lights. Now, something like this big, it would be a little difficult unless you have like grow lights on your ceiling shining down. I mean, that's gonna work. That'll totally work. My propagations in my grow tents are under grow lights and they do wonderfully. They grow really, really well, actually. So, and okay, so now let's talk about watering, because watering is a big thing with these plants. They love water. And I think the problem that most people run into with them, if it's not lighting, that's not the main problem. I think the main problem is watering. They love water. They go through so much water, so much more water than you might think, than you might expect, because the leaves, they look and they feel like they're so succulent-like feeling. They have that succulent, although it's a thinner succulent kind of leaf. But, and you would think that they would like hold that water in their leaves. But yeah, I water this plant. I drown this plant every week. It drains. I don't actually drown the plant. It does, it does drain. But I thoroughly soak this plant every week and it loves it. The nice thing about it is it will tell you if it is thirsty, because those leaves will start to get wrinkled and kind of curly. So you'll know that you're not watering it enough if that happens. But yeah, definitely. And I don't even use, like most of my plants, a lot of my plants, I'll use a moisture meter on them to make sure that they actually do need water. I don't even bother with this one. I just water it. Now keep in mind also, it's going to depend on the humidity in your space. So I live in Colorado. We are quite dry here. My ambient humidity is like 30, it's about 30% on a good day. It's 30%, in the 30% range. And so yeah, that will play a part in how much I have to water my plants. So if you live in Florida and your ambient in your home is 50%, there's a good chance that you will not need to water this plant weekly. But I'm just sharing with you my experience. So if you live in Colorado or if you live in a dry climate, water this plant frequently, at least once a week. They do love water. Oh, and also how much lighting your plant is getting is going to play a role in how much water it is going to absorb, like it's going to use up. So if the brighter your lighting, the more water it's going to need. So yeah, humidity and lighting will play a role in the watering needs of this plant. All right, so we did lighting, we did watering, fertilizing. Now I do I do fertilize with every watering, and I do that throughout the whole year. I know some people stop fertilizing in the winter time. I don't. So the fertilizer I use is the Fox Farms Grow Big fertilizer, and I do it, I go by the instructions on the bottle, and for weekly feedings, what I do is I add is a teaspoon of the fertilizer per gallon of water. And then I just water all my plants with that, including the Thai pink lipstick plant. Yeah, so you can do whatever sort of fertilizer, whatever you're comfortable with, but I'm just telling you that's what I use. Okay, soil. Now, most of my plants are in like an aeroid mix. So you just want a nice draining soil. So the soil I use is the Fox Farms Ocean Forest soil, and then I amend it with perlite and orchid bark. So it is a chunky mix. It is, and it does, it's a well-draining mix, and it does well with that. So I mentioned humidity before. So I said like the humidity in my house is 30%. If you go online and you look up care tips for this plant, it's going to tell you high humidity. Not necessary. Obviously not necessary. Will it grow faster in higher humidity? Definitely. But it is doing absolutely perfectly fine in my ambient 30% humidity. So yeah, just ignore the suggestion of high humidity. So it is absolutely not necessary. So what else do we want to talk about with this one? I think that covers the basics, right? Am I forgetting something? Water, lighting, soil, fertilizer, humidity. I think that's it. Like care. It is I would call it easy care. I would say it is an easy care plant. As long as you have it, it's easy care if you have it in the proper conditions. I learned, like when I first got the plant and I had it in my west-facing window, it was not an easy care plant for me at that time. It was a difficult one. It was difficult until I realized, thanks to Paul, what it really needed as far as lighting. So overall, I would say it is an easy care plant for sure. Okay, so I need to propagate this plant. I got my scissors here. I'm going to chop this one up. Oh, and before I chop it, and one of the reasons why I'm hesitant to chop this one is because I don't want to lose blooms. This is a winter blooming plant. So I think it's in January. I think that's when the blooms come out. It's like January, February, maybe into March. It's a cold weather bloomer. The cold weather is what makes it bloom. I guess kind of like orchids. I think cold weather is the orchids need cold weather in order to bloom. Well, this one, it blooms in the winter season. So I'm sad to cut away some of these stems here because I'm going to be losing, there's going to be blooms that would have come out on these stems. But what are you going to do? Because I don't have a choice. I have to cut this because it is touching, like even here. It is on the table here on this cabinet, and it is encroaching on my succulents. It is blocking light to my succulents. So yeah. And I'm propagating for my shop, for my plant shop, because you guys like this plant. So yeah, I guess we're gonna trim it. So I'm gonna trim every one of these stems. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 8. I think I'm gonna chop them to about this length here, each of these stems, and I am gonna have so much. I'm not going to have enough room for all of this. Like if I was to make a normal pot of Thai pink lipstick plants, I wouldn't have room for all of this. So what I'm going to do is, I think I have like 12 planters that we're going to be putting all this into, and they're just going to be like super full pots. They'll just be really very full pots. So Yeah, let me get you in closer and we'll start chopping away. Chop, chop. All right, so I guess we're just gonna do this. As difficult as it is for me to chop my plants sometimes, we're just gonna do it. So let me show you. So I think I'm gonna chop it. Trying to decide like how high above, I guess right there. Okay, so here is where I'm gonna make my cut, and I'm gonna make my cut right above these two leaves right here. Hopefully you can see as close to those two leaves as I can get. There. And the nice thing is these don't leak. Like with Hoyas, when you make cuts in Hoyas, they'll start getting drippy, the sappy stuff in there. Don't have to worry about drippy stuff with these guys. So here is our first stem we're going to be working with. And I'm probably going to have so much that, unfortunately, I'm probably going to have to throw some away. Sadly, I hate to do that, but yeah. So in this, okay, that's where I made my cut there. And the new growth will come out at that node. Between those two leaves there is where new growth will come out eventually. Okay, so let's do this one. Basically I'm gonna kind of stagger them a little. Like this is the last cut here, so this cut's gonna be a little bit lower just so it doesn't look like too even, or just to give it like a little bit more of a natural look. That one will be a little bit longer. And it's always also a good idea to make sure that your plant is well watered before you take cuttings. I might leave this one. That's a little bit long. I might leave it. Make sure your plant is well watered so that yeah, your little propagations will be strong when they are growing out for you. All right, and then one final one here. I'm gonna do this one a little bit. I'll do that one there. There. Oh, so sad, but at least now, I mean, these are actually a little bit lower than what I'd want them to be because they're still kind of close to my succulents. But at least now it's not touching that cabinet. All right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like I said, 8. I wasn't sure if I counted correctly or not earlier, and I did. So now we have to make these even smaller. So we're gonna have to cut these down even more and start potting them up. So, and then also when I cut them, I want to try to let them callus a little bit so that, yeah, when I plant them into my soil, that they're not going to start to rot. So we're gonna go into the other room and chop all these up. We're gonna do some more chopping. All right, so we're gonna be hanging out here on the floor together. Nikki is here, at least temporarily. Usually they decide, I start talking and they decide that they don't want to have any part of this. Nora is here too, right there in my chair. I fight for seating in my office here. I'm always fighting for space. Everybody is. Whenever anyone comes to visit, they're fighting for a place to sit. Okay, so I have all my cuttings here. Here's our cuttings. And let's see here. I need to back up so you can actually see what's going on here. It's gonna be hard to see. Okay, we're gonna start chopping these up. So I have to figure out like exactly how big I wanna make these. These are gonna be kind of big, like, she wants to leave. She wants to leave. Okay, I'm going to make these pretty big size pieces. So probably at least three nodes, 3-node cuttings. So I'm going to chop it right above that set of leaves. So this is our first. This is going to go into the soil. This is the top. This is the bottom. This part's going into the soil. So I'm going to do another set of 3 like that. I don't like to do too many sets of leaves because I worry that the stem, like, it won't be able to be supported, like the leaves won't be supported by like how much, because it is a fresh cut, there are no roots. If you have too many leaves on your stem, it's gonna struggle because the plant, like, it's trying to get water to all of the leaves, and if it's too big, it can't handle it. So yeah, I'm gonna go through all of these. I'm not gonna like make you sit here and watch me cut every single one of these up. I'm just gonna do it off camera. But another thing before I do that, before I go and do that, I do want to point out that you want to make sure that you are cutting in the proper, so the plant can grow in the proper direction. So here, okay, so it was dangling like this. You would think this is the bottom. It's actually the top. This would be the top. This is where new growth is going to be coming out from. So when you make your cuts here at the bottom, this is the bottom. This is the part that's going to be going into the soil. You want to make sure that you are potting them in the proper direction. Yeah, hopefully that makes sense. Now, if you forget, if you make a cut and you can't remember like what's up and what's down, you can always just lay your plant flat on the soil, and the roots will grow into the soil, and it will right itself. It will start growing the proper way. So let me do this. 1, 2, 3. Let me just start cutting these up, and then they can callus, and we can start putting them into our soil. I might make some of these actually 4 sets of leaves. I think some will be 3, some will be 4. Okay, so I got them all cut up, and I have them separated into piles, and each pile has 5 cuttings. And I ended up with 11 piles, and I have, here are my pots right here. I have pre-done my soil pots, and I have 12. I have 12 pots here, so I am short. It's funny how that like almost worked out perfectly. I might go cut just enough for 1 more pot for my plant. I might do that. Or yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. So we'll have exactly 12. We'll have 12 pots filled with 5 cuttings per pot. So let me just show you. This is my soil here. Oh, it's gonna drip everywhere. Good thing I have my potting mat. So this is what I was telling you about. This is the Fox Farms Ocean Forest soil mixed with perlite and orchid bark. And I have pre-moistened these because I have found that to work the best for when I am doing my propagations. So I'm going to go cut some more, another pile. So we have, let me just make sure, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And I have 12 pots. So I do need 1 more pile of 5. And then I'm going to let these sit some more, let them callus over. Probably go eat lunch or something. And then, oh, there's Nora. And then we'll come back and we will pot these up together. And yeah, that's the plan. All right, so we are back. It has been some time. It hasn't been, I didn't wait like a super long time. I might have waited like maybe 45 minutes. I think that's plenty of time. And I have my 12 piles now. Here are my 12 piles. And we're going to start potting these up. So now you can, if you want to, you can use a rooting hormone on these, but I'm not going to do that. I haven't noticed like a big difference on whether or not that actually makes a difference. So I'm not even going to bother. I'm not going to bother with it. So, all right, so here's our first little cutting. And this is the, if you look, if you see, I always leave, so I know that this is the bottom, I leave a little bit of a longer bit of stem here. And you can see there's like not much at the top here. So I know that this part goes down into the soil first, like it goes in like that. And I just stick it in there, put it in there. Where did I take that from? I think this one. Yeah, this is the one. Okay, so now this one here is a little bit longer because this is the top. This one here doesn't have to grow like a brand new stem. It's just going to continue growing from the top here. And like this one here, this has to produce a brand new growth point on it. This one does not, this one does. So this one is quite a bit bigger. I'm going to remove some of these bottom leaves here on this stem just so there's more. Probably remove 4 leaves. Just so there's a longer bit of stem to support this taller stem in the pot. And I just push that down into the soil. And I try to I push it down into the soil as far down so that the soil is right at that node right there, which is where roots are going to be coming out of. If that makes any sense at all. Hopefully it does. So we have 2 more to put into this pot. These are going to be really full pots. I don't typically propagate this way. This is not the typical way I do it. I usually do 1 leaf, 1 node cuttings in my pots. But because I have so much, this is the way I'm going to do it. So that's the first one. Pretty cute, huh? I'll be anxious to see how these do, since this is, not my typical way. So all the new growth is going to be coming out of the top, except for this one, which is like a top cut. This will just continue growing just as it is. But all of these other ones are going to have to produce brand new growth points. So hopefully it looks good. All right, so we will do 1 more together, and then I will do the rest on my own because it's just the same old thing over and over and over again. But maybe I will take you and I'll like hold the camera and do 1 close-up for you guys so you can see, just get a close-up view of what it looks like. And this one, there's not a whole lot of stem down here, so I might remove a couple of these leaves just to give us a little bit of a longer bit of stem so it's easier to put it into the pot. And there's number 2. It goes pretty fast. It's a really pretty fast process. Okay, so here's the little leaves I have pulled off that we don't need. All right, so here is a close-up. We're just pushing it all the way down. So these leaves here are touching the soil, like trying to get that node to touch the soil. And then once again, pushing it down in. And then those roots will come out. They'll come out over here, I believe. I don't think the roots come out of the stem on these plants, but I'm not positive. It's kind of hard to see. It's kind of hard to do this looking through the camera. And number 5. So on this one, this is interesting right here. So this is an old cut. So I made a cut on the stem before, and this is the new growth point. Hopefully you can see how it just came out to the side of the old cut. I don't know if that's showing up or not. To me, it's looking blurry, but hopefully for you, it is not blurry. So, all right, where am I going to stick it right? Oh, it's so hard for me to see. I guess I'll put it on this side. Just like that. And there's another nice full pot. 9 more to go. Okay, so they are all potted up. We have all 12 of them, very full pots, I must say. Fuller than what I normally do, but I had so much to cut because it just, like I said, it just grew so well over the summer. It's just pretty incredible how much growth that plant gave me this past summer. Probably its biggest growth ever in the 3 years that I've had it. So yeah, after 3 years. So you have that to look forward to. If you have a brand new Thai pink lipstick plant in your collection and you're here at this video because you want to know how to take care of it, if you follow my suggestions, in 3 years you should have explosive growth also. Unfortunately, the time of the year is not good for showing off its blooms because, like I said, it blooms in the winter time. And it is September right now. So we have a few more months before it will be in bloom again. But when it does bloom, boy, is it a show. And it's spectacular. You will love it. Okay, so now what am I going to do? So I potted mine into soil. You don't have to use soil. You could just stick these in water, or you can stick them in sphagnum moss, or whatever your preferred propagation medium is, you can do that. I prefer soil. I have the best luck with soil. So I'll be taking these to my grow tent, and the grow tent is a nice, warm, bright, humid location, which is what these plants really need to root. You need good light, you need humidity, and you need warmth, and those roots will grow. Now, the chances of every single one of these cuttings that I did and planted, the chances of them being successful, like every single one of them, is not, I mean, there's no way. I will, inevitably, I will lose some of these. They will rot. They just won't take. But for the most part, I mean, hopefully, fingers crossed, from past experience, they'll do great. It will be fine. So if you like this method, the soil method, but you don't have a grow tent, what you can do, so you see I have them sitting in a bin like this. So what I would do if I were you without a grow tent, I would just cover this up just like this, seal it up so there's it's nice and contained, and the humidity is going to stay in this bin like this. And then stick it on a shelf, or I wouldn't stick it in direct sunlight because it would get too warm for the plants. But if you have a shelf with grow lights, stick it on that shelf, or near a window where it's getting some light like this, like even like this. I mean, I think you would want a little bit brighter than this. My computer monitor here is blocking the window, but this is a northeast facing window, and it would be, if this monitor wasn't here, it would be like perfect light for these guys to grow. So that's if you don't have like a grow tent, or if you don't have a cabinet that you can put your propagations in. Something like this works great with a lid and contained, and it holds that humidity. So, but I have the grow tent, so I will just stick it into the grow tent. So let me show you. This is a previous propagation I made of the Thai pink lipstick plant, and this is only two cuttings. Plus, it wasn't just two cuttings. It was like 2-leaf, 1-node cuttings. So remember, all of these are like at least 3 or 4 nodes on these cuttings. Plus there's 5 in each pot. This is just 2. And yeah, you can imagine how full these pots are going to be one day. In a few months, it should be pretty spectacular. My hope is that these will do really well and they will be ready in like next year. It won't be till next year before I'll be selling these. But wouldn't it be awesome if some of them were in bloom? I mean, it's possible. It could happen between now and their winter blooming period. That could be pretty cool. So, all right. So I guess that is going to do it. Like hopefully I covered all the bases on how to care for the Thai pink lipstick plant. That's all I can think of. Like, that's pretty much all I do with the plant, and I would say I'm pretty successful with the plant. I've had good luck with the plant. Yeah, if you have any questions, if I forgot, if I didn't mention anything. Oh, like pests. I have never had any issues with pests on my Thai pink. So it is not pest prone. Not to say it can't happen. Surely it can happen. Surely you could get pests on your Thai pink, but I personally have not had any issues. I could see mealybugs being attracted to this plant. I could see that. But I have not had any experience, knock on wood, no problems with pests on my Thai pink lipstick plants. So anyway, if you have any questions, hopefully I can answer them for you. You can leave them in the comments and I will chat with you in the comments. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed learning all about the Thai pink lipstick plant today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.